Imagine the head coach so bad the team he just got fired from smoked cigars after their first game, obviously a win without him. Josh McDaniels was that bad, and we can see why the Raiders did such a thing after beating the New York Giants last week. The thing about it is you have to play the next week. Too much emotion and celebration of one game can make the team flat for the next game. The Raiders were flat in the first half against the New York Jets, too. Head coach Antonio Pierce must have said something to wake them up at halftime. The effort and the execution of the Raiders was better in the second half than in the first half, so they were able to beat the Jets 16-12. We have some good takeaways from this game, too. One thing we know now from the Jets and Giants game is that Pierce knows who his guys are and to get them the ball. In 2022, the Raider offense was better because they had a formula that worked. It's really simple, too. If the opposing defense is focused on stopping superstar receiver Davante Adams, it's going to be hard to stop running back Josh Jacobs running the ball. If they're focused on stopping Jacobs, it's going to be hard to stop Adams. It's actually impossible if you know how to use them off each other. McDaniels knew how to do that last year, but this year he seemed to have forgot. Pierce and offensive coordinator Bo Hardigree remembered, though. Early in the game, the Jets were focused on Jacobs, so Adams was featured. Then when they pulled the safety out of the box to focus on Adams, Jacobs took over. The Raiders had a lead, a rookie quarterback, and a worn-down Jets defense late in the game, so they continued with Jacobs to close it out. Jacobs had 116 yards on 27 carries on the night. With all the damage Adams did early, he ended up with 6 catches for 86 yards to lead the Raiders. Pierce got the ball to his stars. With the way the defense was playing, the Raiders didn't really need quarterback Aden OConnell to have a big game. They needed him to not mess it up. He struggled in his first NFL start against the Los Angeles Chargers as he looked unprepared. He looked a little better when he came off the bench against the Chicago Bears. Then in the second start, the first without McDaniels and with Hardigree calling the plays against the New York Giants, he looked very prepared and poised. Fear and anxiety come from being unprepared. The fact that the Raider offense put 30 points on the board says it all. In Week 9 against the New York Jets, he got a chance to show what he could do against one of the best defenses in the NFL. He had his moments, but it was tough sledding for him in the offense. Touchdowns were hard to come by, but he threw one in the fourth quarter after throwing an interception early. It was the only touchdown of the game. He still has a ways to go as a quarterback, but you gotta love the grit and poise he showed. O'Connell didn't fall apart after the early interception. He hung in there without left tackle Colt Miller and did just enough to win. This offseason, edge rusher Max Crosby posted help wanted ads all over town, and he got a response from middle linebacker Robert Spillane, so he has help now. Spillane and Crosby look more like kindred spirits every time they play. Spillane is just like Crosby in so many ways. They both came from small schools, Crosby from Eastern Michigan and Spillane from Western Michigan. They both have highly insane motors and work harder than most. Crosby came into the league rushing the passer well, but had to work hard to be as good as he is against the run. Spillane came into the league stuffing the run, but had to work hard to be as good as he is in coverage now. He leads the league in pass rating into his coverage among linebackers at 61.5. Spillane is tied for the league leading interceptions among linebackers with 3. He has a fumble recovery too. He's a big part of why the Raiders went from dead last in takeaways in 2022 to number 21 in takeaways so far this year. And how about his clutch interception to help beat the Jets? He has 7 tackles and a sack to go with that too. You can say what you want about the Raiders only beating the Giants and Jets in their 2-game winning streak, but they were getting blown out by teams like the Chicago Bears not too long ago. Bad run defenses were stopping Jacobs and bad pass defenses were taking Adams away. McDaniels actually allowed that to happen, but not to worry. Pierce's replaced him as the head coach and he ain't allowing that. He's finding ways to get the ball to his playmakers. And as for Aden OConnell, we'll see if he's a future for the Raiders in a few games, but at the very least, he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo and Brian Hoyer put together. And Max Crosby has help on that defense and middle linebacker Robert Spillane. Thank you for watching. See you next time.